A 17-year-old boy finds a notebook. That's it. That's how it starts. A plain black notebook lying in the grass, with 2 words written on the cover, Death Note. And the rules inside are simple. Write a person's name in this notebook while picturing their face, and that person will die. You have 40 seconds to specify the cause of death. If you don't, they die of a heart attack. The notebook works on any human being on Earth regardless of nationality or language. It cannot kill someone under the age of 13. And there is no way to bring back the dead. The boy who finds it is Light Yagami. Top student in Japan. Son of a police chief. Handsome, athletic, beloved by everyone around him. And quietly, deeply, bored out of his mind. Light looks at the world and sees a rotten place, criminals who escape justice, a system that fails victims, a society that keeps decaying no matter what anyone does. He's been waiting for a way to fix it. He just didn't expect it to come in the form of a supernatural notebook dropped by a bored death god. Light takes the notebook home. He doesn't believe it's real at first. He tests it on a criminal holding hostages on live TV. The man collapses. Then he tests it again on a violent offender whose name is in the news. Dead. Heart attack. Light sits alone in his room and realizes the notebook is absolutely real, and that he now holds the power to kill anyone on the planet. Most people would panic. Light smiles. He calls himself Kira, derived from the English word killer, and begins a quiet campaign to cleanse the world. Every night he writes names. Criminals, murderers, violent offenders. The death rate among the world's worst people begins to spike in an impossible pattern. The public notices. Some are horrified. Many are fascinated. A vocal portion openly support Kira, believing a new god of justice has arrived. Crime rates begin to fall around the world simply because criminals are afraid of dying. The notebook comes with a passenger. His name is Ryuk, and he is the Shinigami, the death god, who dropped the notebook into the human world out of pure curiosity. Ryuk is not Light's ally or his enemy. He is an observer. He makes this very clear early on. When Light's time comes, Ryuk will be the one to write his name. But for now, he follows Light around invisibly, snacking on apples, genuinely entertained by the chaos a single human is causing. Light's father, Soichiro Yagami, is one of the police officers tasked with investigating Kira. This puts Light in a strange position of listening to his father discuss the case every evening at the dinner table, nodding along, occasionally offering helpful observations, all while being the person they're hunting. Then comes L. No one knows L's real name. No one knows what he looks like. He is the world's greatest detective, a figure so secretive that he communicates only through a voice modulator and a capital letter on a screen. He has solved every case he's ever taken. Now he takes Kira's case. And within his first public broadcast, he does something nobody expects. He provokes Light into killing an FBI agent by staging a fake TV appearance. It's a trap, and Light walks right into it. L now knows that Kira is in Japan, that Kira requires a name and face to kill, and that Kira has access to police information. The game between these two men has officially begun. Light is rattled but not broken. He kills the FBI agent and then systematically tracks down and eliminates all 11 FBI agents who were investigating the Japanese police force, including the fiancée of a man named Naomi Mizora. Naomi suspects Light almost immediately and tries to report her suspicions, but Light gets her name, writes it in the death note, and she disappears. L joins the Japanese task force directly, revealing his face to the investigators, including Light's father, for the first time. He is young. He sits in an unusual crouch. He eats nothing but sweets. And he tells the task force point blank that he believes Kira is the son of one of the officers in this very room. Light is placed under surveillance. Cameras in his room, trackers on his car, eyes on him at all times. Light dismantles it all without breaking a sweat. He builds a trap inside his desk drawer, hides a piece of the death note inside a potato chip bag, and continues killing while under 24-hour surveillance in a way that produces no evidence whatsoever. L cannot prove a thing. Light suggests, boldly, that they work together, and L accepts. They join the same task force. The world's greatest detective and the world's greatest criminal, sitting side by side, each fully aware of who the other is but unable to prove it. Their relationship is one of the most unusual in all of fiction. They genuinely respect each other. They play tennis together. They chain themselves together at the wrist so neither can disappear. L tells Light he is the first friend he's ever had, and he might mean it. And Light tells himself that L is simply an obstacle to be eliminated, though there are moments when you wonder if he means it quite as cleanly as he claims. The second major piece now enters the board, Misa Amane. Misa is a famous model and pop idol who also has a death note, a second one, belonging to a different Shinigami named Remington. Misa has done something Light hasn't. She has traded half her remaining lifespan for the Shinigami eyes, which allow her to see anyone's name and lifespan just by looking at their face. She doesn't need a name written anywhere. She can kill on sight. She is devoted to Kira, whom she credits with killing the man who murdered her parents. And she is absolutely, catastrophically in love with Light Yagami. Misa is captured by L. Under pressure, she reveals enough that L becomes almost certain she is the second Kira. But he can't prove the connection to Light. Light's solution is audacious. He surrenders his ownership of the Death Note. When you give up ownership, all memories of the notebook erase. Light genuinely cannot remember being Kira. He submits to imprisonment and torture, passes every test, and even begins to wonder himself if he might really be innocent. It doesn't last. Light's plan was always to recover the notebook. Eventually the killings restart under a third Kira, a businessman named Higuchi who was given the notebook by Rem, and Light and Misa's memories return the moment they touch it again. Light is Kira again, remembering everything, and now he has a plan to kill L. The plan requires using Remington. Shinigami can write in their death notes to extend human lives, but they are forbidden from using their death notes to protect a human they care about, or they will die. Light engineers a situation where Rem is forced to kill L to save Misa. Rem writes L's name. L dies in Light's arms, looking at him with quiet certainty, and Light allows himself one small, private smile. L is dead. Light has won. He takes over the investigation under the name Kira, appoints himself the god of the new world, and continues his work. For the next 4 years, the world largely bends to Kira's will. Crime rates plummet. Many governments quietly comply. Kira's followers number in the millions. But 2 children who studied under L are watching. Their names are Nier and Mello, and between them they carry L's legacy, Nier with his cold analytical brilliance, Mello with his reckless, aggressive instincts. They don't work together. They compete. And in competing they each pull threads that the other would have missed. Mello is kidnapped by the Kira investigation's own task force after a complicated chain of events involving the Japanese mafia. Nier, working with an American intelligence organization, begins systematically dismantling the structure around Kira. Light is exposed to increasing pressure. He makes a move to eliminate Nier using a Death Note piece hidden inside a watch, but Nier has anticipated this. He has replaced the notebook with a fake. The final confrontation takes place in a warehouse. Light has a man named Mikami, his devoted follower and the current primary Death Note user, write all the names of everyone in the room except Light himself. Nothing happens. The fake notebook. Mikami's real notebook, retrieved from a bank vault, shows every name, including Light's own aliases and moves, written in Mikami's obsessive handwriting, which has deviated precisely once in recent days. On the day he opened the vault and retrieved the real notebook. Nier has the real one. He's had it for weeks. Light breaks. He starts to explain himself, the full vision, the world he was building, the god he was becoming, and it comes pouring out of him, this genuine belief that he was right, that what he did was necessary, that the world is better because of Kira. The task force members who have known him for years stare at him. His own father stares at him. He tries to write Nier's name on a Death Note piece hidden in his watch. Matsuda, one of the officers and a man who genuinely liked Light, shoots him in the arm. Then again. Then again. He is weeping while he does it. Light runs. He is bleeding, alone, half delirious. He makes it to an empty staircase. He collapses. Ryuk is waiting for him. They've had a conversation before about this moment. Ryuk said he'd never help Light, but he also said he'd be the one to write his name when the time came. He takes out his notebook. He looks almost fond. He writes Light Yagami's name. Light Yagami, age 23, dies of a heart attack on a staircase, alone, with the eyes of a death god watching over him. The Death Note is buried. L's name is added to the memorial. The new world Light dreamed of doesn't come. The old world, imperfect and slow and stumbling, continues on without him. Crime rates eventually drift back toward normal. And Ryuk, bored again, drops back into the Shinigami realm to wait for the next interesting thing to fall. Death Note is a story about what happens when a person with total power and total certainty that they're right is given the means to act on it. Light Yagami is terrifying not because he's a monster but because he's logical. Every step makes sense given the one before it. The horror is in watching the chain of reasonable decisions lead somewhere irredeemable, and in realizing that the notebook didn't create Kira, it just gave him a way out of his own boredom. The real question the story leaves you with isn't whether Light was right or wrong. It's whether the world he built while he was alive was actually worse than the one that came before. And the show is smart enough to never fully answer that.